Hey friends, my name is Richie and welcome back to my channel, Gender Not Found. So, it's like, this always happens. It's, just about 7 o'clock last night, maybe a little bit after. It says 7:11 on my computer. So I'm gonna be recording a few videos. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, upload anything tonight, but the plan is to record for about 3 hours. I want to get 3 hours of recording done. Tomorrow's probably actually going to be like the biggest recording day for me. Um, I have like nothing going on tomorrow, like literally nothing. Um, this morning I had a movie to go to. Friday I had a meeting with Jordan, my support thing. So both those days I wasn't able to get as much recording done as I was hoping. But tomorrow I don't have anything going on. I'm home all day. I'm home all day. And as far as I know, the kids are settled and everything's gonna be cool. So tomorrow is gonna be like my biggest recording day yet. And the plan, I want to try and get back into daily content for you guys. The next week starts in about 2 days at this point. So um I'm planning to record I'm planning to record for a few hours tonight, and then I'm gonna record for, I don't know. I'm gonna try and record for as long as I can tomorrow. Like, if I can record for the whole day, like, maybe from, like, noon to 6, maybe, like, I don't know, I want to try and get 6 or 7 hours done. Um, the post-nasal drip always affects my throat, as I said, so I'm gonna have to see if that's possible. But I also have a really important video that I can't skip on today that I really want you guys to know about finally, because I've been planning this video for quite a long time, and I've been posting about it on Reddit, and I didn't even realize it would be the perfect opportunity to make a video, so I'm gonna be reading that. It's gonna be just like my Reddit readings, which this is one of. So I have some posts and stuff saved on my computer, and we're gonna dive right into those. I have like, am I the asshole? Just no mother-in-law, relationships, stuff like that. I have some various subreddits saved, so we're gonna look into that. I want to do a Reddit video, and I have a bunch of Reddit content saved that I want to make videos on. Like, you can save certain Reddit posts, and I want to do that. And I end up doing that, and then I want to make them into videos eventually. So right now, right now I have a bunch of, sorry, I just had a freaking pop up on my computer. It's really annoying though. Every time I reset my computer, it ends up asking me if I want to update to Windows 11, and I'm like, just shut up. No, I don't want to. Okay. Anyway, so I have a bunch of Reddit content saved, and I want to make a bunch of videos. Like, I have a whole bunch of stuff. So we're gonna dive into these ones I have. So I have 3 different relationship posts for this first video, and I'm really curious. Okay, this first one is not safe for work. So the first these 3 are gonna be all relationship posts, like all they're all 3 from the same subreddit. They're all r/relationships. So we're gonna dive right in here. And I'm just gonna, yeah. Alright, we're gonna. So, knowing about my 19 female boyfriend's 20 male past has ruined our relationship. Before me, just like anyone else, my boyfriend had multiple relationships, sexually and non-sexually, and so did I. Usually this wouldn't be a problem at all. I've never been one to care about this stuff and just be happy in the present with whoever I'm with. But before me and my boyfriend got together, we were friends, and he was recently going through a breakup. That was his fault that the girl left, and started messing around with multiple chicks. When we got together, it seemed he was over all those things. As time passed on, it was clear he wasn't. I went through his phone and found an endless black hole of sex tapes, messages, selfies, and pictures, you name it. He'd bring up random things about his exes at the most random time. He'd compare the things he likes about me by talking down on his exes. Oh, I love that, how you do this, because so-and-so did it this way, and I hated it. He'd suggest things I should do or wear, and it was clear they were things his exes would wear. Even avoid doing things with me or going places with me because he had already gone or done with whoever the fuck. It was a whole dirty mess. I finally stood up and very angrily expressed how much I hated this and how badly it was affecting me. This only went on the first couple of months of the relationship. Now, We've been together for a year and a half, and I would like to think that he's finally over all those times. And to be fair, he seems to be, but now it's me that can't get over it. My self esteem has been shattered. I'm constantly trying to be someone I'm not just to satisfy him. I compare myself and find myself stalking all these girls he's been with and seeing how beautiful they are compared to me. I can't stand it when he does nice things or says cute things because all I can think of is how he's done it with someone else. As a teen, I fell for the whole liberal bullshit that constantly having sex is somehow empowering, which landed me in dangerous situations, and how did I cope with it? By being hypersexual. Now I'm extremely disgusted with my own past, and in my head, I love to think he's the only one I've been with. The idea of virginity is so triggering for me, and have my safe have my safe haven, but it's spelled like heaven, is to think that he took mine. I truly love this man, but when I get into my head and start nitpicking at his past, of course he fights back by bringing up mine. After going through his phone and finding all these things he did, it seems like our relationship is not special to him. He doesn't text me the same he he doesn't text me the same cute and thoughtful way he did to those girls. He never takes pictures of me or with me, but he constantly did with his exes, and now I keep going back on it. I'm sorry, I'm really sexually traumatized, but he was much more into it with all these other girls. The message is talking about how she ended up with hickeys and bruises and how hot all the things he said were, all the videos and pictures that clearly show how intense or intimate it was. I wish he would be like that with me. Why am I not enough? Why am I not enough? I've hinted at these things, but I feel completely wrong saying, hey, fuck me as good or better than you did all these chicks because I've seen your sex tapes. Or, I've read your messages, why can't you text me like that, etc. I feel even more ugly that he never wants to take pictures of me or with me. I don't know what to do. If I hadn't seen all those things or heard him tell me all those things he did, things would have been fine. But it happened the way it happened, and now I feel way less than. I really love our relationship, but I've completely convinced myself he doesn't love me, and I'll never be as good as his past. And even though I've had my fair share of past too, the difference is he's the golden star of my life. He's the best I could have asked for, and I've loved him more than anyone, and I've done way more with him, and etc., etc. Now it's to the point where he's trying to make our relationship better, but I'm too far gone and hate everything he does because it doesn't feel genuine or special. Or to be honest, I'm never satisfied. I want more effort, more gestures, more time together, and adventures and activities, and blah, blah, blah. I just want to be his best, but I feel like I am nothing. Meanwhile, he's my all. Too long didn't read, which we don't need because we already read that. The reason the reason you feel like you need more and more and more and more from him is because he can't give you what you need. You need self-love, my dear, and no amount of effort on his part is going to give you that. You're still very young, and I think a lot of young women go through what you're feeling. Get into some therapy to deal with your insecurities and shame. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having a sexual past, but you clearly feel extremely ashamed of yourself for it, and I think you're also projecting that onto your boyfriend. You should consider going to therapy as soon as possible. A little off topic, but an honest question, is this therapy thing an American thing? I can't count how many times I read go to therapy, speak to a therapist, I ask my therapist, I go to a therapist, and I always wonder why every second person here is seeing a therapist. It sounds like it's so usual to have one, like a dentist or something. It's not really an American thing. In fact, it's somewhat uncommon to have a therapist in the US, but a lot of people on this sub because they have pre-existing mental health problems, and therapy is kind of the only way to work through some of these unhealthy internalized thought processes. Yeah, like I go to therapy. I've been going to therapy since I was 16, so probably like going on 12 years now. Um, yeah, probably going on it's been going on like 12 years now. I've been going to therapy, like, I've been talking to my therapist all the time because, as you guys know, I have like PTSD and depression and stuff like that. Like, I have serious, like, mental health issues. I'm a lot better than I was. I still have a lot of mental health issues. This could be the kind of thing where I'm going to therapy, like, my entire life. Um, so, like, I don't know, it's still early on in the process, all things considered. Like, I've only been going for, uh, I've only been going for 12 years, which honestly doesn't sound like much, but I was in an abusive situation for 15 years. So even compared to that, like, I haven't even been going to therapy for as long as I was abused. And there's still so much I need to talk about. Like, um, there's still a bunch of shit we need to go over, like stuff from the past and also stuff that's happening right now, like cutting off my sister and stuff like that. Like, I actually kind of talked about it the last time I saw my therapist. We kind of went through it, but there's still some stuff to go over with that, and I'm assuming there's going to be more issues, in the future with everything happening with my sister, and like feelings are going to come up and stuff like that. Anyway, let's read more of the comments because I'm kind of curious. Alright. When we got together, it seemed he was over all those things. As time passed on, it was clear he wasn't. I went through his phone and found an endless black hole of sex tapes, messages, selfies, and pictures, you name it. So to be clear, you found stuff involving other people from when he was with you, or you found that he still had stuff from his past partners. It's unclear whether the issue here is that you discovered he was cheating on you, or just that he had been recently very sexually active, which you already knew. Now I'm extremely disgusted with my own past, and in my head I love to think he's the only one I've been with. The idea of virginity is so triggering for me, and my safe haven is to think that he took mine. If you're sufficiently traumatized by your sexual history that you want to deny it exists, that sounds like it calls for serious therapy, possibly best worked through well outside any relationship, especially a relationship with someone whose own past serves as ammunition with which you're constantly re-traumatizing yourself. Yeah, get away from that situation. Um, I think one of the important things that lots of people don't get is to stay away from situations that are just going to bring up past issues, which is actually part of the reason why I cut my sister out of my life. A big part. Okay, maybe not the entire thing, but she was very, very triggering for me, given my past and given her behavior and everything that was happening. Like, it's just all. Wait, am I a. Um, so we read one. Actually, I want to move on to something a little bit different because, in the sidebar, there's like a bunch of, suggestions for different subs. Like, there's an entire list of related subreddits, and one of them is called Bad Roommates, and this kind of seems like it would have some interesting stories. So I'm gonna go over here, real quick, and I'm gonna see what we've got because I kind of want. Okay, there's 71,000 members, and there's 122 people online. Created January 2013. Okay, so it's been around for like 9 years. Okay, living with roommates in your 30s, is it different? I think we're gonna go to this post. Okay. Update, roommate has moved. The silence is golden. Success. Okay, the bills are lower than ever. New replacement roommate is awesome like me. He barely watches anything and never listens to incessant music. We both respect the noise boundaries at night. Getting in another roommate who is much the same as me tomorrow. Finally, some rational and sane roommates to coexist with. I won't be posting here for a long time. Hooray, lol. Okay, I'm kind of we're gonna go into this person's I'm gonna stalk this person's post history and see if we can find the entire thing. Be cautious. Crazy comes in many different forms. Agreed, I know from multiple experiences before. Haha. Alright. Now, um okay. That has nothing to do with the roommate. I don't know if we're gonna find anything because, oh my god, there's a sub called r/Ireland. Holy crap. This is basically me just like hanging out on Reddit at this point. Like I'm not normally I just do one subreddit. Like I just like to go to one subreddit and read from there, and then you know the next subreddit is the next. Okay. These are all okay. None of these are about the attention people with fucked up childhood. What is the most fucked up thing your parents said to you and you didn't know what it meant until you were older? Alright, let's see what this is. Uh, it's a spoiler. Okay, r/ask Reddit, and we're gonna see what the comments say. Are you trying to make people depressed? To anyone reading this, don't live in the past. Don't feed off the misery porn. When my mom said she only wanted one girl and got 3 boys instead. My father said that I was a useless, shitty monkey. My mother said she wishes she aborted me. If only it wasn't too late. I will never forget this. You know what? Okay, I'm telling you my story about. So I have autism. You guys know this. So when I was like 17 at the time that I got diagnosed. I was in this like group program that was helping me through all my mental trauma, and I was there for like 3 years, from the ages of 16 to the ages of 19. So, and when I was 17, the doctor was like, um, I had okay, I can't remember if it's a psychiatrist or a psychologist who manages your pills. Like, I always get all messed up with that. But I had one of those. I think it's a psychologist who was managing my pills, and he set me up with some like medication for my depression and stuff. He diagnosed me with depression, and then he also diagnosed me with autism, and I had no idea what that meant. It was called Asperger's. We now call it um it's now known as like, I'm trying to think of what it's actually called because I never call it this. It's called high functioning autism, but I still call it Asperger's because that's what it was called when I was diagnosed, and so I really like that, so I'm gonna stick to that. Um anyway, I was diagnosed with Asperger's, a type of autism, and um I remember this thing when I was like my mom, and then my mom mentioned how she knew that I had autism when I was like a little kid, and it reminded me of this thing. And I was like, I don't know, like I think like 7 at the time, like 6 or 7. I was really young. Um, and my dad came to me and he said, "Your mother thinks you're retarded," and I never even understood why he said that or what it meant until later on. I will never forget that. Oh, and now I hate that word, and that's probably a big part of the reason why. But that wasn't what he said it was. It was my mom saying, "Hey, maybe our kid has autism. Maybe we should get them checked out." Like, I I was like identifying as a girl at the time, obviously. So my mom was like, maybe we should get her checked out, maybe we should get her looked at, stuff like that. And instead my dad just came to me and said that my mom thought I was retarded, and that was the entire conversation about the fact that I might have autism. So I just ended up hating that word, not understanding what it meant, and realizing later on, oh, that's actually a bad thing. Like when I was a teenager, I realized that it was a bad thing. No idea what the word meant at the time. And I was very extremely confused because my dad came to me, he said this one specific thing, and then he walked away. I mean, I don't know if he walked away, but that's literally the only thing I remember of that conversation. That's that's exactly how I remember it. He just said that, and then that was it. That's all I remember. I don't. If there was anything he said after that, I don't remember what it was. So anyway, it was really, really messed up. Both for my dad to say that, and for my dad to not, move forward with getting me the diagnosis because school was a living hell for me. I was bullied like all the time. Actually, when I was in the group program that I was just talking about, I was in the on-site school and there was like three teachers and maybe like a dozen students, and I was able to get so much individual attention, and I also got like some stuff set up. Like, I was able to listen to headphones, I was able to have like a short break in between classes to eat a granola bar or whatever and just like have a short break. And, the teachers were very understanding. They made a lot of accommodations for me, and I got to see what my life would be like if I was diagnosed, if I would have been diagnosed when I was a kid and had some like special help or school program or like a special class or whatever. It was it was when I really started to love school, because when I was a kid I hated school because I felt stupid all the time because I didn't understand the work, and it wasn't because I didn't understand the work, it was because of my dad. Because with these teachers, with the three teachers that were there, I actually understood the work and I did it and I did it well. I think I got like an 86% in math, which is an A, I think. It's an A, right? I did that. Anyway, but like I was getting really awesome grades. I was doing really well. I was understanding the work. I wasn't stressed out because it was an actually good experience and I loved school and I wanted to do more of it, and I that was about the time I decided like I wanted to go to college at some point in my life. Like up till then I didn't want to go to college because school is shitty and I didn't want my life to continue being shitty. But then later on, I decided that school was awesome and I wanted to continue my education. And now, and I also, and then, I keep thinking about how, like, I could really improve my writing if I went and did, like, writing courses in college and, like, if I majored in some kind of writing program and, also that'd probably look, impressive to anyone who's considering publishing my book to see that I have this credit that I went to college for this specifically. So yeah, I'm probably more qualified than other people who might not have gone to college for that. I don't know. It's just really cool. And I really fell in love with school during those years. Like, I got the help I needed, but I also discovered how much I actually loved school and how much of my hating school was my bullying and not understanding the work because I didn't get the special attention I needed, and also my dad. It was all my dad. And also, just him generally blaming my mom for everything is a shitty thing to do, and him telling me that as a 7-year-old, whether or not I understood what it meant, it was still shitty, and it was awful that he did that instead of being like, wow, maybe I should get my kid a diagnosis, or at least get them looked at to see if they're okay in life, so they can get the help and support they need. But when I was a teenager, then I did get the help and support that I needed. And I can never thank the teachers enough for that. I can never thank the everyone who was at that group program, like the people who were in charge of it, the people who ran it, the people who worked there. They were all amazing. And also the doctor who diagnosed me with autism, because I would have I would have never known that myself, possibly. Maybe going and getting my own diagnosis wouldn't have been the kind of thing that I would do, but that is something I will never forget. Oh, another crazy thing my dad said, since we're doing this now. So, when I was a kid, my dad would give these really long, like, lectures or talks or whatever. I don't remember if this was in a lecture or if it was just because I think it was a lecture. It was one of his, like, famous, like, hours long lectures. What just happened? Okay, I guess my internet went out for about half a second, but because a notification just popped up that says found the internet. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, it was like one of his famous, like, hours long lectures because they could go on for like 5 to 6 hours. Um, anyway, whether or not it was during a lecture, it's not important. Um, my dad was, I don't really remember what led up to this. I'm sure it was some crazy shit, but my dad basically said like, oh, how much Hitler liked people with blonde hair and blue eyes and stuff. And then he looked right at me and he said Hitler would have loved you. And that will always stick with me because it was the most terrifying thing I have heard to this day. Like, actually, there's one scarier thing that I heard, and that was my mom and sister being in a car accident. No one was harmed very badly. My mom had a few bruises, and there were like a few little bumps and scratches and various. Everyone was fine, thank God. Like, they were alive. There were no serious injuries. Just, the car was smashed up really bad. Luckily, they were both in the front seat, and it was the back seat that got the brunt of it. The dog was fine. My mom and sister were fine. The dog lived like a few more years after that. Um, anyway, I was saying about, yeah, so that is terrifying, and I'll never forget it. I think I want to continue because I had two other relationship stories to get into. How long have I been recording for? It's already been 25 minutes. Okay, we're gonna go through these two other stories quickly. Alright, we're gonna go through these two other stories quickly. I could not find his other stories. They might be further down, I don't know. But maybe I don't know. But I'll probably be back soon to this subreddit now that I know it exists. Alright. I think we're gonna just close. Okay, that's not good. Give me a second. I'll get right back to relationships. Alright. So I'm in my save post and we have two more posts that are from r/relationships that I want to go over really quickly. My mom thinks everything I do and like is bad until she sees someone else do or like it. Okay, one more personal story. One more personal story because this is a good one. It's actually kind of a funny one, especially considering my childhood. Like, I do, in fact, have good and or funny stories from my childhood. Like, they're not all bad. A lot of them are bad. But anyway, so my sister used to really enjoy dipping fries in her ice cream and stuff like that. Like, she loved the salty and sweet taste together. She would dip it in her ice cream and then she would eat it. We all know this is a common thing, right? We all know this is a common thing. But my dad used to call her weird every time he saw her doing it. Until he saw this Wendy's commercial where someone was dipping the fries in the Frosty and eating it. And then he was like, oh, I guess it's not so weird after all. Which still doesn't excuse him saying it. But anyway, I just think that's kind of a funny and cute story from my childhood, other than him just kind of being a jerk, but it's a cute story, and also I just love that for my sister, you know. Anyway, uh, so I, 20 female, have a bad relationship with my mom, 46 female. It's rough, but I am coping with it. I haven't stopped I haven't stopped talking to my mom, but I keep a certain distance. Everyone who gets abused in any way by their parents knows no matter what, it takes a toll on your mental health. It drains you and is a huge burden to carry on your shoulders. So you need to cope with it, or else you will carry the generational trauma onto the next generation if you decide to have kids, or it will cause you a lot of pain. A way for me to cope is by having an understanding of why she did certain things and knowing where it comes from, because this makes me realize none of it is my fault. Exactly. That's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, it's not your fault. It's their fault. They're the ones who are being abusive, and I have a tendency to blame myself, so I think education is key here. What I'll never understand, however, is her tendency to admire others, especially people my age. Often she will hate stuff I do or like, even if it's the most basic stuff. But when someone else does it or likes it, it's acceptable or even gets praise. One of my childhood friends that works at a gas station. I myself worked in a boutique a while ago. We started working at the same time. We both work in retail. However, my mom was so happy for that friend. My mom said she is developing and becoming an actual adult and told me how amazing she is for working there and how smart, ambitious, and hardworking she is. But to me, she just said I could have worked in a much better boutique instead, even though this boutique was considered the best in my hometown, and I was generally respected for working there, and the experience ended up giving me so many opportunities. It has always been like that. My art style and clothing style gets looked down on by her. My hobbies are gaming and sewing, and gaming is so easy to be criticized nowadays, as apparently only male mass murderers play video games, right? That's stupid. That's just really stupid. When I sew or paint something, she would look at my work before it was done and say it's bad. And when it was done, she began nagging or ignored it entirely. Meanwhile, she saw something similar to what I did on TV or Facebook or something, and suddenly it was the best work she has ever seen. Somehow, no matter what I ever did, it wasn't good. I always did everything the wrong way. She never really directly compared me to others. All she did was praise others for doing the same thing I was bashed for. I have a hard time understanding this logic. Maybe some of you have a certain knowledge of psychology to explain why some parents are like that. So, too long didn't read. My mom acts like whatever I do is wrong and bad, but whenever someone else does the same as me, it's praised by her, even if they're not as skilled as me at it. Okay, I have an idea. Here's what you do. You tell her your life stories as though they're from someone else. Like, okay, say you get a certain job. You say, "Hey mom, my friend got so and so job." And then you a- and then your mom will praise them, and then you say, "Actually, I got the job." And then when she criticizes you for being bad, you can say, "Why was it good when my friend does it?" All jokes aside, I'm sorry you're going through this. Maybe if you try opening like an Etsy store, you can get some support from those people since you're not getting a lot of support from your mother. But you say that you sew a lot of stuff. If you haven't opened an Etsy store yet, I would suggest doing that. If you see this video, which isn't likely, but still, if you do see this video and you do want some support, I would suggest opening up an Etsy store. And actually, people end up making a lot of money through Etsy. I think that would be a really cool way to, like, first of all, show your mom that you're not worthless and your skills are not worthless and, not hated by everybody. And it's clearly just her that's doing this, and also that you can amount to something, because I'm not saying you can't amount to anything, but your mom obviously thinks that you won't amount to anything because she keeps saying everything you do is wrong. um but if I had this kind of person in my life, I would actually just go no contact. I'm not telling you to do that. Everyone has to make their own choice, and if you want to keep her in your life, that's completely understandable. She's your mother, she's family. It's, you know, it's different, and I also understand that it would be extremely difficult and hurtful to cut her out. I actually understand that more than you know because I cut my sister out a few months back for reasons. But I'm really sorry you're going through this. Like I said, open an Etsy store, give yourself some worth, and you can start to feel good about yourself because even if your mom's not praising you, all these random online strangers will be praising you and buying you work, and then it'll make you happy. It'll give you something to feel good about because it seems like right now your mom is making you feel really bad about yourself. Let's see what some of the comments say. I'm only gonna read a few of these because it's getting late and there's still at least one more video that I wanted to make tonight. Okay. Um, so I'm gonna go on and read this. It really sounds like your mom forgets that you are your own individual person with your own individual thoughts, wants, and capacities, and instead looks at you as an extension of herself. So while retail is great for your friend, you, an extension of your mom, have so much more potential than working at a boutique, or have more skill than what you portray in your art, or any other way she nitpicks you. It isn't right, and I would encourage you to combat the criticism with simple statements like, "Well, it makes me happy," or "I'm very satisfied with XYZ." Getting her to understand what she's doing will likely be an uphill battle, but please understand that you have every right to be proud of yourself for your accomplishments, even if the one person you may feel is supposed to be proud of you isn't. I personally feel that understanding the root of issues like this is integral to finding peace in your own life, and I am proud of you, internet stranger, for starting yourself down this path of insight. Yeah, I agree. I feel like my dad was much of the same way, just like hating everything I did because everything we did was wrong because, he did something differently. Like, we weren't allowed to like something that he didn't like, we weren't allowed to hate something that he liked, so half my childhood was like lying about liking certain movies or foods or whatever to please him, because, yes, we're all our own individual people and and also the only person who needs to be happy for you is you. The only person who needs to be happy with how you're living your life is you. I think we're gonna read a couple more comments. Like, maybe we'll go through two more comments. Okay. Just leave. You need to realize that just because she got cream pied doesn't mean you owe her anything. My mom is the same way, and I wasn't truly happy until I cut her off completely. Okay. Um, if the comparison is less obvious, you look like you're overreacting when you get mad or upset. She can say she was just being nice to others. It's just being mean to you with extra steps. It has nothing to do with any of your actual hobbies. And then the last comment, I would avoid her at all costs. I read the last comment because I said two more comments, but there was a third one and it was the last one. So I just decided, whatever, I'm gonna read it. And it was a really short comment too, so it didn't take a very long time. Alright, we're gonna do this last one and then I have some stuff to take care of before, um, yeah, I have some stuff to take care of. I have to use the bathroom. Okay, my boyfriend, 21 male, didn't respect my wishes, 22 male, and now I feel really upset and embarrassed. Basically, I have really bad trust issues and anxiety. He knows this. Sometimes my anxieties are really out of proportion and it's just embarrassing. Anyway, yesterday I was at mine and he came over with his friend. I told him I have to go by a certain time. When the time arrived, he asked if his friend and him could stay in my bedroom while I was gone and leave in the evening. I didn't feel okay with this. I just feel more comfortable with knowing my bedroom door is locked when I'm not there. I said they could stay in the kitchen, and he said okay. We got to the flat, and I went to my room, and they followed. Then I asked if they could go to the kitchen, and he just said, "No, I'm staying here." And I tried to explain my anxiety, but his friend was listening, and it was just really embarrassing. And my boyfriend was saying stuff like, "Just let us stay here. You have nothing valuable in here anyway," etc., etc. I've known him and his friend for over a year now, but I still have trust issues. It's just really embarrassing. I ended up just going to the kitchen and just falling asleep there, and they eventually came out to the kitchen, but by the time I had a chance to leave, I was just in a really shitty mood, and ended up staying at my flat for the night anyway, canceling my plans. It's really upset me how he just doesn't take my anxiety into consideration. I don't know how to get him to understand, and he wants me to defend myself better, but when I'm in that situation where I don't feel listened to, I just get triggered and freeze up and run away instead of defending myself. Uh, alright, well, wait, you slept in the kitchen? You slept in the kitchen. Where did you sleep in the kitchen? Did you, like, put a blanket in the sink? That's not cool how your boyfriend completely disregarded your wishes, and in front of his friend, too. Does he disregard or disrespect you in other ways, OP? If he does, I wouldn't put up with that. Next time you tell him no, I don't want you staying in my room while I am not here, as I'm not okay with that. If he argues or tries to change your mind, you can tell him he can either stay in the kitchen or wherever in the apartment aside from your room, or he can leave. It is your space, you should be able to respect that. Yeah, the other day he was being rude, and I told him I will call security if he doesn't leave. And he was like, go on, call them then. And then saying I'm a pussy. Yeah, that's totally unacceptable, and I would have called security right then and there. You can do so much better, OP. Leave. He's gonna end up hitting you. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's an instant breakup offense. You really need to get rid of this guy. I think the guy who said leave because he's gonna end up hitting you is right. This seems like fucking abusive and assholeish behavior that's gonna evolve into just worse stuff. Just worse. Okay. You mean ex-boyfriend, right? Because that's not a relationship to continue. It's not just your anxiety, it's perfectly normal to not want people in your room. I don't mean to diminish your anxiety. I mean it in a you're not overreacting way, in case you needed to hear it. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Your boyfriend just sounds like a plain asshole. You don't treat your friends, acquaintances, family, or even strangers like this, much less your girlfriend. Okay, they're both boys. Him making shit hard for you for no reason is not teaching you to defend yourself. He just wants to do whatever he wants and makes it sound like it's your fault for not being sensitive. Makes it sound like it's your fault for being sensitive or whatever. Break up with the sorry loser. Straight up, not worth any compromise. I know it sounds like drastic advice from a stranger who doesn't have to deal with your situation, but I cannot imagine one where this would be worth anything else. I genuinely hope you will, and one day be someplace in life with people you can trust and who respect you like they should. Yes, this isn't about the anxiety. She didn't want a guy. Okay, they're both boys in this. She didn't want a guy who wasn't her partner hanging out in her room. That makes perfect sense. Yes, anxiety shouldn't be put onto partners, but this wasn't just anxiety. This was a very reasonable boundary to which her partner agreed and then intentionally tried to force her into doing what he wanted. I don't want people in my room either, OP. My partner, sure, literally no one else has reason to be where I pretty much just sleep. Yeah, why does he want to be in the bedroom? This doesn't even make sense. Like, why does he, like, is there, like, not a fucking, is there not a second bedroom where he can be? Because if there's not a guest room, then maybe you shouldn't be staying over at all. Um, I don't know, from the story, it seems like there's not a guest room unless I missed something. But I don't know. Even if even if I had a partner, I wouldn't trust him in my room and I don't want him. Like my room is a safe space for me. Um and yes, anxiety should be talked about, and things that make your partner anxious should definitely be respected. Like if you say, "Okay, if you do this, I'm gonna be really anxious. Like it's gonna make me really anxious or whatever, or it's gonna trigger me or whatever you end up saying." Then the partner should know, okay, this isn't a line to be crossed, and then not do that thing because they know it's gonna upset you, regardless of anxiety, but especially because they have anxiety. And I actually have I have some serious opinions about this one because I have like depression and some other mental health issues. So you have nothing valuable in there anyways. Leave him now. Yes, exactly. No longer allow them in your flat. If he cannot follow your rules in your place, then he cannot enter. Yeah, no, I don't have anxiety, but if I told someone I wasn't comfortable with them staying in my room alone and they insisted, that'd be the last time they came over. You aren't being unfair. He is a tool. Yeah, exactly. Nope, everything about this. A 22-year-old man shouldn't need to have it explained what no means. Tell him it's over, stop responding to him, don't even try to justify, and stop letting him in. I agree. I absolutely agree. By the way, I'm not saying any names because I never do in these videos. I don't know if these people want their names shared, so I'm feel like it's better just to not, especially because some of these stories tend to get pretty personal. Your boyfriend and his friend needed your bedroom while you had to sleep in the kitchen. Aren't you a bit concerned about what they needed to do in your bedroom? I'm just gonna read through this one more time by myself just to see if I missed something about not having, like, if they have, yeah, if they have, a guest room or not. Okay, it seems like they only have one room, which is his room. Um, so it doesn't seem like they have a guest room or anything. I don't know if I would feel super comfortable having someone over like overnight if there wasn't a guest room. And why would they feel comfortable with that either? Like, where are they gonna sleep? Where are they gonna, eh, have sex if that's what they want? Like, no, they can't have sex in my room. I'm not gonna let you have sex in my room. But I would tell them, like, if you don't leave my bedroom, I'm going to call the police, and that would be the end of the conversation. And then if they didn't leave, then I would do exactly that because that's an absolute invasion of privacy. Okay, guys, I think I'm gonna end it right there. I've gone through the three stories that I had in relationships, and I also ended up telling you guys a few personal stories. So I'm gonna go for now. I'm gonna be back to record some more stuff a little bit later, but I actually have to check in with my mom because, I'm waiting to until I can call her, and, I have some other stuff to take care of, like I have to go to the bathroom. My IBS is, well, it's always, I guess it's always there, but sometimes it makes me have to use the bathroom more than other times. So I'm gonna go, and I love each and every one of you guys. Please don't forget to always be yourself. You are valid, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.